Hi there, welcome to another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Irit. I'm a watercolor and media artist based in Austria in Europe. And on my channel, I share my artsy adventures. Today's video is super exciting because I'm going to rate my favorite watercolors for 2025. And I'll show you all of them and I'll tell you which ones I think are more brand specific and which ones are just colors that I love that most brands make. This was very difficult. I think I could safely say that if I just had these 15 colors, I think I would be okay. Let me know in the comments which watercolors were your 2025 shining stars. I love to know. I love to try new colors. Let's get right into it. Starting at number 15, I'm gonna say olive green. Now I love olive green, but I think I'm bumping it slowly also in my paintings for another green, which will come later. But olive green is beautiful. You can see it right here. I used to use a lot of green gold, but I found that this olive green from Daniel Smith just has a bit more depth and it just fit my style of really using earthy greens. You can see here, I still like them to be bright, but I also really love it when they are earthy. I don't think I mix a ton with my greens. I mostly just like tweak them with other colors. So I really love having some straight out of the tube greens. At number 14, this is Zoisite Genuine. It is such a great dark, it granulates, it is very muted, and it just looks beautiful with my pinks, which I love. And as you probably guessed, if you've been here for some time, they will come much later in this countdown. I feel Zoisite Genuine is quite a unique color. Something similar, if you don't want to spend the money or Daniel Smith is not available to you, is Perylene Green. That has the same vibes. I don't think it's as granulating, or maybe it's not even granulating at all, but it has like the same vibes as this one, which is just like a deep, very dark muted green. At number 13, we have Cobalt Turquoise. As you can see here, I pretty much love every version of this color that I've ever tried. Every brand makes this. It's not always called Cobalt Turquoise. Sometimes it's called Cobalt Teal Light, and then some brands have a Cobalt Turquoise that is not this color, that is more muted, like I think Schminke. So you want to be careful. This is the Lucas version. I'm in Austria. Lucas is a German brand. It's very widely available, and this large tube of 24 milliliters is usually around 10 euros, something like this, which is a fantastic price for cobalt. It's a more expensive, tends to be a more expensive pigment. So this is kind of my go-to. I love a touch of cobalt teal in my paintings. I don't mix it a lot. I really like it mostly in its pure form. Sometimes I will mix it with Naples yellow to get these really kind of minty, light pastel-y greens, but that's not always my vibe. Okay, moving on, number 12, we have quinacridone gold. I love the core version because it's very pushy. This is a very like orangey, it's like an orange. It still has like some earthiness to it. I love to sprinkle it in my paintings because it pushes the other colors aside. And I also love mixing it with purples and for contrast, and mixing it with pinks for really luminous reds, which is a theme that it's a recurring theme here. So quinacridone gold. At number 11, I have French Ultramarine. I love French Ultramarine. It's usually the only blue I will have in my palette. Every brand makes this. I really love the ones that lean very red, like almost on the verge of purple, and the ones that granulate a lot. And I have to say that these two are like my current favorites. So this one is from Da Vinci and it's French Ultramarine red shade. Love it for it. And then Schminke's version is just very granulating. They're all across brands quite similar in my opinion, so just grab the one that is mostly widely available to you. And the reason this is a number 11 is because there is a certain version of it higher up on the list that I love more. I love ultramarine, but I don't use a ton of it in its pure form. This is great for mixing greens with all of my warm yellows. I get really lovely earthy greens like I like, and also I can neutralize it with my very orangey yellows and get some neutrals. But I don't do it as much as I do with other colors that I will talk about later. Okay, we are at the top 10. At number 10, Cascade Green, which you can see it in all its glory here. So pretty. I actually find myself using this more and more, and I really love using it not only for trees or, you know, that kind of thing. I really love it for I really love using it for water because of all of that turquoise separation that it has. So Cascade Green, love it. This is by Daniel Smith. And at number 9, the color that bumped, olive green. This is Undersea Green. This is probably my third tube. Most of the colors that I mentioned, these are my second or third or fourth or fifth tube of. Undersea Green, you can see it here. I think it's a good, you can see it's just a bit darker, a bit bluer than olive green. And I just find that I'm drawn to it more and more. And probably if I just had to include one green in my palette, now I would probably choose this. I can always turn it into something similar to this with one of my yellows. So yeah, Undersea Green, bumped, olive green. At number 9, this is a lazy color. I love it so much. I use it. I'm always surprised at how much I use it, how much I crave it, and how much I love it. This is lavender. A lot of brands make this now. All of the Asian brands have made this color for a long time, and I think now the Western brands are, in the last years, have caught on to that. This is most of the time basically ultramarine mixed with white, sometimes with a touch of violet. I like many versions. My Rembrandt is a European brand. I think it's Dutch, so it's very widely available to me. But I think my favorite is actually Daniel Smith, and now I really like their gouache version of it, which I have in my little travel palette here. It's extra opaque and creamy and lovely. So lavender, you can totally mix this if you have white and ultramarine in your palette. But I use it a lot, so I like having a version straight out of the tube. Because it's mostly ultramarine blue, it also granulates, and it makes for fantastic grays when you mix it with a color I will soon tell you about. So this is the lavender here. I used it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, at number 8. We have Da Vinci Artemis. You can see it here in all its glory. Again, this is probably my second or third tube after using multiple Daniel Smith Moon Glow, which kind of have the same vibe. I love this as my dark. I think it works with my work because I use a lot of warm colors, and so having a dark that leans cool, like that is, you know, purple, I think really works, besides the fact that it granulates and separates, and it's just beautiful. Da Vinci makes these big tubes. Love mixing it with quinacridone gold and another color that is coming. It makes beautiful, beautiful mixtures. This is my go-to dark in my watercolor world for many years now. At number 7, we have Nickel Azo Yellow, which is the other color that I love to mix with Artemis, besides quinacridone gold. This is such an intense, earthy yellow that I really love. I think it works amazing in landscapes and florals. It is very pushy. I think most brands make it. I really like the Daniel Smith version, but you can probably get something similar, you know, cheaper if you choose another brand. This is kind of how it looks. This is quinacridone gold, and this is nickel azo yellow. It makes for super luminous, corally colors, oranges and reds when I mix it with my bright pinks. It has taken over. At number 5, I have Naples yellow. This is probably my 4th tube. This is the Schmincke version and it looks like this. I love it. I love to mix it with pinks to get corally colors and oranges that are slightly opaque, because this is an opaque color. It's a bunch of pigments. I don't care. I love it so much. Every brand makes Naples yellow, but my favorite is the Schmincke one. At number 4 comes Lucas Naples Yellow Reddish, which is this color here. You can see it in this little drawing. This. It is similar in vibe to a yellow ochre, like a soft yellow ochre, but I really love this one. Again, this is very widely, like it's very easy for me to get and it's very affordable. The Lucas version, I need to buy a new tube of it. I love mixing it with lavender. It creates beautiful grays. These neutralize each other so beautifully and they have a bit of granulation and opacity. Such a great combo. Really, really love these together. And I also love mixing this with all of my hot pinks for those reds, corals, salmon colors, etc. Okay, we are at the top 3. Pause the video. Now that you know what I've already mentioned, pretty sure you know what's coming. Okay, at number 3, we have Cobalt Violet. I have many versions of this color. I've tried many brands. It is very hard pigment to formulate. There it is here. I usually like it pure, but I also love mixing it with Naples yellow. It creates these gorgeous, light, sandy, peachy colors with the purple or like violet granulation. Such a great combo that I don't see a lot of people using, which makes me love it more because I really love having a unique color story. And I've tried many brands. Some are really bad, some are really good. My favorite, all-time favorite is Winsor & Newton Cobalt Violet, and I recommend getting it in a pan. Get a full pan and have fun. The tube version is also good, but the pan is really foolproof. Yeah, I didn't really love the core version. Right now I'm using a Da Vinci color that is okay, but it's not, but it's a little bit darker than I like. But yeah, Cobalt Violet, I would say it's like probably one of my signature colors. It's a color I don't see a lot of people talking about and using. That's okay. It's the color of my dreams. I have like a special relationship with this color, but I don't use a ton of it. At number 2, bumped from number 1 in the last couple of years, we have Holbein's Bright Rose. This is, you can see it here, it is a very, very bluish, hot pink. It is fugitive, it is beautiful, it is perfect, and mixed with all of my beautiful yellows and quinacridone gold, it makes gorgeous reds, oranges, coral colors. You notice I don't have any oranges or reds in my palette. It's because I can mix all of the colors that I love between my pinks and my yellows. I don't know how many tubes of this I have used. I will say that in the last year probably, I've been using more and more gouache to get this color, just because I feel like it gives me sometimes a little bit of extra intensity and opacity. But this is like one of my ride or die colors. I love it so much. And in the last couple of years, it was bumped to number 2 by this little fella. I have another tube, so I'm okay, which is Opus Vivid Pink by Da Vinci. You can see it in its pure form, probably here. I think it's very pure, and it is just warmer. but it is luminous, vibrant, again, mixed with all my yellows. It gives me all of the orangey, peachy, corally colors that I crave, which I crave a lot of. I love it for beach scenes. I love it for florals, for abstracts. Probably in landscapes, I use it a bit less. I just love this color. I use it all the time. It also has a great formulation. I find the bright rose, for example, can get quite dry, especially if you don't use it for long periods of time. And this one just activates so beautifully, instantly. It's like the perfect bright pink. If I really had to choose between them, I would choose now this one. I could probably, you know, cool it down a little bit with cobalt violet or a touch of ultramarine blue. But yeah, my number one favorite color, Opus Vivid Pink from Da Vinci. Here you can see all of the colors together: Naples yellow reddish, nickel azo yellow, quinacridone gold, Opus Vivid Pink, bright rose, cobalt violet, Artemis lavender, ultramarine blue, cobalt teal, cascade green, olive green, undersea green, zoisite green. I've been painting with watercolors for quite a few years now, and I have to say my preferences have significantly changed. When I started painting, I was really into super transparent, very bright, saturated colors. And as I discovered my style, I really learned that what I love are, first of all, like specific colors that just speak to me, as you can see, but also I really like having a variety of qualities, meaning I like some colors that are transparent and other that are more opaque. I like separating, granulating watercolors, and I love mixing them with non-granulating watercolors. I think for me, really the fun is to mix, and because I don't work with a lot of layers and I really like keeping things light and airy when I paint with watercolors, actually using some opaque watercolors and sometimes gouache has really helped my work look more interesting and have more depth, but not overworked and not having to work with a lot of layers. And actually something that I've been doing in the last 1 or 2 years, I've really incorporated gouache more and more into my work. Now, I'm not going to include this in this video because I really want to focus on watercolors, but I will mention some colors that I like to also have in their gouache version, just because I can get that kind of more creamy, intense, opaque color application that I can't always get with watercolors, or with watercolors it's not as opaque, and I really like that finish. I had to think quite a bit about how I actually want to rate these, and I decided to be true to my color preferences and really rate them by my love of the color. Now, that doesn't mean it is a color that you can't mix, which means I put aside all of the logical considerations of what would make my palette more varied or something like this, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about the love of color and how it makes me feel. So it's very hard to rate them like this, and I love using them all. Some are more useful to mixing other colors, and then with some colors I really love them just in their pure form and I don't necessarily use them to mix a lot of other colors. Yeah, so this is very subjective, but I always get, like daily, I get messages and emails and DMs from people that try the colors that I show here and recommend, and it makes them so happy to find like that perfect cobalt violet or that perfect pink or that perfect semi-opaque whatever yellow. So I hope this will help you also find some new favorites, or maybe take a forgotten color from your drawer. And don't forget to leave me a comment saying which color is your favorite from those that I showed here, and which one has been your favorite for 2025. The more the merrier. I hope you enjoyed this countdown. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a wonderful day and weekend, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Take care. Bye bye.